on the defense as well for CAG in their quest of heading to Copenhagen.
Yeah, it paints a very grim picture, really, doesn't it, for Varrel? It felt like this could have been their series if they were able to win Clubhouse, push it to 3. Villa was always going to be tricky. Unfortunately for them, they are starting out on the defense, and the reason I say unfortunately, because that's exactly where they started in that last game against Cyclops on this map. Guess how many defensive rounds they won?
0.
You are correct. Ding, ding, ding. 6 attacking rounds straight for Cyclops into then a defensive win in the second half after Varrel only took 1 round in that second half. So it was very rough going for them in this match. Hopefully, they've been able to turn things around quickly. It's only been 8 days since that game was played.
Yeah, it's concerning. To be fair, again, I will reiterate that particular match. You know, the importance of it is not anywhere close to the importance of this particular match. It's still concerning because I think at any point, like once you get into the server and once you're playing the game, you know, obviously you're going to have excuses that are potentially made where it's like, oh, well, you know, this didn't matter, or we didn't try super hard, or we didn't go deep into the strat book, whatever. I think all of that's really just a cop out. It's an excuse. So actually, I think we're getting almost the same bands here as Clubhouse. So I think it was the Kaid was the last band here to go with the Mirror, the Dr. B, and the Montaigne. We'll see if that does eventually because it's got interest peaked. It's the Solus, and rightfully so, because that absolutely abused Varrel, especially at the back end of Clubhouse. And so, yeah.
It's just quickly interject. It's the exact same bands that we saw these teams last play. So everything is set in place for this to play out very similarly to last time where Cyclops wipes the floor. The entire onus is on Varrel to step up their game and show us something different to what they did in that last hit.
Attackers need to locate.
I did get a little bit confused as well by that earlier graphic. I thought it said Cyclops defending. I guess not. It seems as if donuts. Varrel will be on the defense of Villa to keep their campaign alive of heading to the major. They've got to start well here. ABG, Aviator Games, really solid site of choice, obviously, to begin with. Get yourself an early round on the board. You can't be throwing rounds away. And one thing that as well I want to touch on one more time here, those opening kills that we saw from Cyclops, just far prevalent back on Clubhouse. That is something that they've got to rectify here on Villa. Varrel need to be more aggressive, even on the defense, let alone in the second half on their own attack, in finding these opening kills, getting these advantages, putting pressure on Cyclops. It's just too much sitting around doing really not a whole lot. Hopefully that'll change here on Villa. It is the map picker of CAG, and CAG are 7 rounds away from heading back to another major.
And it's looking like a double shield setup here from Varrel, so that's already just giving the facade that they're going to look to play defensively and lock down positions on the map. See how it does eventual wait throughout the round. Keep in mind that Cyclops are prepping for a north sweep, so they may not even directly play into that outside of maybe the lurk entry. Really. Oh, that is very sharp.
That's better.
So
that's better.
There was the entry, but it was shut down quite swiftly.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's a pretty aggressive hold, Bob downstairs, right? Like, you don't have to typically see that on the defense, especially Aviator Games, where it's pretty comfortable to just put that shield top round and just kind of hold that angle, make sure it's, okay, not going to be easy to push downstairs. So I like this, though, from Varrel. Early on, they're looking more for that early contact. They get rewarded, they get the opening kill, and they'll get the second little drive-by there from Okamesh. And that's probably the round. I know it's gone very early. We've still got 2 minutes. But in a 5 versus 3, where you're looking at attacking and Aviator Games, you don't really have the lurk below. You don't have to flank defense either from the Nomad with those air jabs. There's not a whole lot you can really rely on here. The Glaz, what is the win condition down below? You got obviously Suzu, who maybe can still look to open up something like Vault, maybe get a bit of 90 control from that. You got the Glaz that can kind of look in towards sight. I don't know how you bring this one back.
They didn't even pocket smokes heading into the round, so Aniton's simply just looking to back himself with the rifle, which can do a decent amount of damage. It's not the absolute worst weapon, but it's far from better. It's really those grenades that need to have an impact clearing out positions like downstairs, but shields are still standing up. The grenades are being expended elsewhere, and GD, man, play Overwatch through these slits. Mag out, response. Now we're 4 versus 2. No real control to speak of Cyclops. And the aggression from Varrel, well, we requested it. They have filled that, at least for now. Should Isu could be a threat, but Okomesh, another drive-by. And Addington, who's still down below, having no impact really at all in this round, is left in the 1v4.
Well, and I do hope that is something that they spoke about as a team, because it's a collective team effort to be aggressive, to look for these kills. You can't just necessarily rely on one or two players as they close out the round. And they closed out that round because of the way they started that round. Through and through, from the beginning towards the end, they were just a better team. Okay, ABG, not exactly the easiest of sites to attack, but it had nothing to do with Cyclops, right? It had absolutely nothing to do with attacking team, attacking a certain site. It was just the way the Varrel set up, the way they stationed. They wanted the early contact fights. They wanted to go for those opening kills, the swings, everything. And it worked. And it's something that was lacking on Clubhouse. Now that gives me hope. That's all it does. It's early days. It's only one round, but it just gives me hope that maybe Varrel have figured out what was a very big weakness on Clubhouse. Maybe they can rectify that here on Villa, and there is a chance that they could steal this map and we send it to theme park. That would be really the best case scenario, because I really do want this grand final, this final game for Japan before the major, to be competitive.
And she's ready and waiting.
Really now on Cyclops to respect that and anticipate it going forward through the match. They may have gone into that first round with the mentality that Varrel are going to play very stagnant on that double shield setup, sort of allow them to gain space around the map. Really not the case, and they should now be expecting it going forward. In terms of the lineup, we're going to see that Pulse come out. Incredibly strong operator here on Villa. And you consider that a lot of the floors on that second floor are destructible. So Pulse can push it down below, and with triple nitro available for Varrel, will make this clear. A little bit more challenging for Cyclops. They themselves on the attack have a couple of different options, and depending on how Cyclops are feeling, may even look to hunt down this player down below and get the advantage early on in the round.
It's good signs. That's really all it is, and that's what anyone can be just at least happy with. If you're a Varrel fan, or you're maybe cheering on Varrel, at least in this particular series, it's good signs early on. So, and when we think about Villa as well in the Japan League, it's a map that actually gets played quite a bit, and it's got a very attacker win side rate, 66%. Now, there's obviously some sample sizes there that you probably would say is skewing those numbers quite a lot.
7-1.
Yeah. So I wouldn't look too much into it, but I will say it's not necessarily, again, and it's a theme really throughout the entire Japanese region on all of these maps. There's nothing that's super duper fan decided. So I think the biggest being Skyscraper at 58%. That's the biggest one. So it does speak volumes that, you know, when we went back on Clubhouse, probably should have been 3-3 half. It wasn't. Wow, big opening kill. And Villa's the same. Villa, you're probably looking at a 3-3 half territory. So this has ended up being a really good start for Varrel. 2 rounds in a row, guys, where they got the opening 2 kills, let alone the opening 1. They got the opening 2 kills, and they're searching for it. It's not a case of Cyclops pushing in and you know, forcing these contact fights, but happening to lose it. It is Varrel that have finally just found some offensive power in this grand final.
A lot of information as well, and Chibisu off the back of that pulse scanner, so he's not going to have any chance in winning out this round, and forced now to run away. A minute to go. Varrel, another great round. The first two picks rather, quick succession. Not making many mistakes at all. Start off this second map pick, and it almost feels like it is their pick. But it's Cyclops team with the advantage in the series. Looking ahead to the major with a 2-0 scoreline. It's feeling a bit of heat to start off this map, on a map that should be leaning at least a little bit towards the attack. Certainly not looking that way at the moment.
Yeah, this is much better from Varrel. So now our attention turns to Cyclops. How do they counter this? So Varrel suddenly, one of their biggest weaknesses on Clubhouse clearly was just their inability to win contact fights early in these rounds. And I probably say early more than just in general, because I think the mid and the late round portion that's on Clubhouse, Varrel weren't too bad. It was those early fights, very beginning, you know, maybe where there was a bit of dry peeking, blind peeking, not as much info, or playing off of drones. Like, it wasn't site execution focused. This is so much better from Varrel. They'll be very pleased with their start. They probably won't be pleased with Kelly getting that drone through sight and getting quite a lot of good intel early on, but nevertheless, this is the dream start on a map that's not their map pick, off off the back of basically losing the first map in, you know, pretty disappointing circumstances, this is the best way to respond. So you can lose, but and that's whatever, as long as you respond, and that's what they've been able to do. So credit goes to them. Now it's up to Cyclops for them to turn things around, because otherwise they're staring down the barrel of another disappointing opening half. You gotta remember, you're heading to the major. If they happen to win and they bring it back in the second half, as they did in Clubhouse, I don't think they can walk away going to the major being like, oh yeah, we're in hot form, this is great. I think they'll say, we've got some work to do.
The sense in play then for round number 3, and we'll look to see how Cyclops want to play around that. No Warden has been selected by the defense, so certainly not the worst of options on the attacking side, but very unconventional, especially pair that with Brava. The opponent plays static throughout the round, and Black Ray entry. Now open up. Post up. Sit here. Unfortunately, though, his position is going to be revealed in a moment. Nate, though, they may not know that he's directly in there. Oh, it doesn't clear it. And she's still standing. It pops open, and they will know, surely, if the defense heard it, that there is now someone inside a pantry.
Yeah, got rid of the mute jammer. That obviously made that drone active, gets the yellow ping, gets a bit of intel. But now he's kind of pinched in the corner here. But better from Black Ray, better from CAG, right? You go quick, get pantry control, put a bit of pressure on the site. So this is better from Cyclops, rather than just sort of, you know, sitting around, slow moving, almost like stuck in mud, allowing Varrel to get these opening kills. They go for a play themselves, and it works. You got pantry control, you got a bit of sightline control. Now you can kind of clear above, you can focus above. 90 seconds left though in the round, 5 versus 5, so at least, you know, Varrel haven't quite got that opening kill this time. Better from CAG, but what's the big win condition here? You got the ROU that just pops up. Rento's got to be obviously careful of that one, because you never know what's on the other side of it. It felt like he was just running away from the Matrix, though, that was approaching him. Right, mate, doesn't hurt.
Well, he's probably scared, right? Yeah, Glaz, that's following that.
Yeah, true.
And Glaz is so powerful to look through those walls. Now, won't be play on this occasion, but still created some space. Aldi elsewhere over towards Laundry. Down and dirty, and here's the vault through diffuser in the hands of the ace, and Cyclops looking to hit the kitchen directly.
Much better pressure here, and that was courtesy of Black Ray. They do lose, of course, 1, but that's not too bad of a response though from Varrel. Makes it a 4 versus 2. Suzu gets off of the plant as well, expecting a bit of a push here. Probably could have stuck that straight away, to be completely honest. Black Ray does get the kill on the IQ, but that is Suzu down. That's diffuser at the chassis. So in a 1 versus 3, Black Ray, and he's got to deal with the fact that there's vert pressure as well. And there's only 17 seconds left. Immediately shot from all angles. Varrel are looking dominant here on Villa to begin with. It's a 3-0 start. It's a tactical timeout. A sense of deja vu from Clubhouse. I had a 4-1 lead, guys. Now it's a 3-0 lead. An attack again from Cyclops.
Well, it's a perfect rotation, so certainly the way you want to kick off your campaign on a defensive half. And now, the full onus on Cyclops. It's funny, right? That 10 minutes ago, I think I said these very words, that the onus is on Varrel to respond, because this shouldn't be a map that they're strong on. How that narrative is turned on its head. Cyclops, though, I think this is the absolute perfect time to take the tactical timeout. They sense the importance of getting attacking rounds on the board, and they now have an opportunity to quickly go over, if they haven't already, what the hell just happened in those first 3 rounds. They know that Varrel will now look to repeat those same objectives one after another, so Cyclops can take what they learnt. It's things like the early aggression, things like improving their trades and probably their compositions overall, maybe being a little bit more compatible with what they're facing. They tidy that up, and then they can look to start correcting this map. It's still, though, even if they go 3-3, still maybe not ideal, but it will at least be a better platform than what they're standing on at the moment. In fact, I would say they're not even standing on a platform, because Varrel have been so damn good.
It's a different narrative, though, I think, slightly to Clubhouse, right? I mean, obviously the same scoreline approach where Varrel have started well and Cyclops haven't, but back on Clubhouse, Cyclops were getting those opening kills. Like, they were constantly having a bunch of 5v3 advantages, but, you know, failed in the mid round, failed in the execute. So they're attacking prowess lacked more so on site, and it lacked more so executing on site, or at least pushing towards site. But their early contact fights were good, pushing in the map itself and like getting an early kill. That was something they did actually a good job at, and they got, I think, almost like 80-90% of the opening kills in that map on a whole. But here on Villa, not only have they lacked in that area, but they're still lacking as well with the on-site exit. So even in that last round, you get the pantry control really early, which was, I thought, a really good response from Cyclops to go a little bit faster to get a good position early. Once they actually pushed in, 3 kills go the way of Varrel. That's it. That's the round over. It's 4 versus 2. So there's still some really big concerns for the attack of Cyclops. They're not getting the opening kills. They're struggling with the executes. They're mixing it up as well with their operator lineup. Now they're bringing the Blitz again with Brava. I mean, like, what is this? It's a lineup that is just like all over the place.
Yeah, they're going for like 3 space-making players. You have the Capital in conjunction with the Blitz, and then you tack on the Nomad, which creates space, hold flanks. Chibisu can try to go in there and frag, but he's been struggling a little bit 1 and 3, and then Aniton, well, he likes playing the weirdest operators in the pool, regardless of who it is. You can stick Brava. I mean, you might be able to hack 90, hack Astro, that's not too bad. There's also Capcan in play. Brava is, to be fair, a great Capcan counter, but I don't know if it's compatible with Cyclops. You need to play static. Once 6 goes out, so that's the window open. Suzu's just going to send it top of screen. This could be the play.
Yeah. And they got Aniton here on the window outside of Study as well. He can just bolt in, provide a little bit of extra. It's a rush attack with the Blitz, and it's called Varrel off guard. Double kill as well there. Black Crate, big with the pistol. Rento throwing out the smokes. 3 versus 3, so a bit of a mess. Really probably expected with that kind of rush in from Cyclops. Half health for Aniton. Damage on to Chibisu. Aniton just spraying through the smoke. But a good response from Varrel. They've still got 1 more gas babe available with Rento. And they've still got top round stairs. Now, obviously, the actual side of Aviator has been taken by Cyclops. And they can look to get this plant down. So who's going to respond? Okamesh down below. Can only do so much, though. No more impact grenades. Chibisu gets the plant. But Okamesh gets the kill. So it's plant, kill. 3 versus 2. Retake now. Okamesh swings over towards Aviator. Chibisu, though, now he's got vault control. This is big for Cyclops. Inside of vault has to be cleared out. That's a wonderful angle. Wonderful attack from Cyclops. Much better, finally, on the front foot. They push, they execute, they do so quickly. They don't mess around. And they attack directly in a really good fashion. Much better from Cyclops. Good response.
Yeah, full credit there to Chibisu. He was so patient in sight. I was almost going to call him out for being a little bit too slow, but there was the threat of plant denial down below, so I think he made the right call in going for the plant and then telling the other players what he needed watched, which was really Vault. Fortunately for Cyclops, no one was there, so the plant didn't get denied. And then on the topic of Vault, he was on such an island. Chibisu was in a terrible spot. If he looked at the stand where he was, he would have exposed himself to a couple of different angles and probably got caught in a crossfire looking to escape, maybe back towards Study, for instance. So instead, he just got aggressive and got a really nice foothold inside of Vault that prevented the push from landing. It also meant that players back in far wouldn't then sort of get their way out of that position either. So I think he made the perfect call. And we said, right, he's going 1 and 3. He's on the Ash. He has the license now to probably pop off here and open up the round for his team. That's exactly what he did. For Cyclops now, it's about rolling this momentum forward and really leaning into that knowledge that they gained in the first 3 rounds, bouncing back and putting the pressure back on their opponent.
And you have to repeat. Aviator games, you have to repeat. I think your rule is typically if you lose it 2 in a row, then you fall off it. I even probably think Aviator games is the kind of site, even if you lose it 2 in a row, you probably still just go to it the 3rd time anyway. It's just that kind of site. I think obviously one thing that Varrel could do a little bit better of is sort of getting the information that there is going to be that potential for that kind of rush. You see the blitz, you see, a Capital, you kind of see a little bit of that operator lineup. And anytime there's a blitz, you've got to make sure, okay, this is something that can happen. Can we find out where he is? Where's he potentially going to push from? Is it a study push? If so, obviously we can get the gas babes, we can get the smoke in a good position. We can kind of just deal with that. So I think Varrel, I think they've made the right choice. They go back. They got DD Man looking down below. Very, very deep lurk. So he's going to probably look for a flank. And I wonder if he eventually looks to push up backstairs, coming behind someone like Arkali, who obviously on the Nook hasn't been able to sort of find that information of the lurker down below. And eventually can look to push in through stat trophy and cause a bit of disruption in the late round. Otherwise, the other option would be, I don't know, eventually coming up main and or over towards brown stairs or something like that. I still think he's probably going to come in through stat trophy or maybe red stairs.
And what's the big difference that we're not seeing now that we saw before? It's Varrel not wanting to play that early contact position. I think the most aggressive line they have at the moment is at 90. No one attracted attention over towards stat, over towards trophy. Didn't try to make that a very difficult rappel onto the landing or anything like that onto the balcony. Very much reserved from Varrel. And maybe that's in response to the previous round, right, where it's very aggressive, so they don't want to get caught off guard. But the dynamic is really, I think, shifting just a little bit right now. That said, there's only a minute to go, so the round's gone by very quickly. There is also a lurker down below bot red. Cyclops, now with the advantage, still need to be careful.
Cyclops, are they getting their groove back? Well, there's the run out from DD, man. Just near red stairs, a second kill from Caillou, and suddenly Varrel have potentially been able to offset this push. It's at least a 1-for-1 trades on site. Cyclops at least looking to get in towards a bit more of an execute focus rather than a bit slow and trying to pick apart. They're going straight for site. Hasn't quite worked out for them though in this particular round. Should be served towards study. Hamilton can push up red stairs. Alchemist though, 90 control. Still on the side of Varrel. Really good position here.
15 seconds left.
And knows that top round stairs is being covered as well, so it's not going to be a factor. Anderton picks up the fuser, looks to get that one down outside the gas bay from Rento. Gets it, sticks it. Jibisu, can he win the battle here inside a study? It's a big fight. He falls off of it though. Back towards Aviator. He loses Anderton. He knows he's pinched here. He's got to deal with landing. He's got to deal with top brown. He can't take down either of them. Varrel responds. Cyclops picked up the pace in the last 2 rounds, guys. Varrel still get their reward, and it's 4-1. Once again, the second map in a row, Varrel have a 3-round differential.
Yeah, they did well to get map control there, Cyclops, but then the transition into site just wasn't ideal. They drop a couple of players, and then I think the weaknesses there of the Bravo from Anderton really being highlighted. We flicked to him, not long to go in the round. He's still way off in Narnia, making his transition across from bedroom. So far away from the rest of the team, so he's not in a position to trade any of those picks. If he was, maybe in a 2v2, which is certainly a lot more winnable, especially when the plant's going down. You're asking one player to cover 3 different angles, then getting caught in the pinch, even after it gets put on the ground. So, credit to Varrel. I was certainly concerned. I thought that their approach was maybe a little bit too conservative, but you can make it work if you're able to shut down that side push. That's exactly what they did. They also played it well in the post. So good.
Well, we don't get too excited, do we? Because we've been in this position before back on Clubhouse. Defensive first half of Varrel up 4-1. Cyclops closing out the last round to make it at least 4-2. So I think we can probably both agree. We probably don't have much expectation for Varrel on the attack coming into Villa. But also at the same time, this is still a big result for them compared to the last time they played on Villa where they lost 7-1 to Cyclops. So again, it's Clubhouse all over again. They look really good. There's probably at least one person, guys, 100% one person who watched the first half of the last map and then had to go and leave and go do something. They've come back in the first half here and they're like, oh, Varrel's absolutely destroying them. But they're like, what's that little purple dot next to Cyclops? Like, the first halves of these 2 games have been all Varrel. This has just been a super defender-sided series, and it really puts then the onus on who's going to be better at attacking. And so far, they've both had their issues. Cyclops have not been that clean on their attack. Neither were Varrel back on Clubhouse.
Horizontal approach here from Cyclops. Go through living, and then we met with a 2-stack. DD man. Wow. Quad Nitro lineup here from Varrel as well. So, in fact, going horizontally may actually be the best play. Reduces exposure to pre-placed Nitros up above on the top floor, for instance. That said, it will still need to be pressured at least somewhat. Suzu currently in 90, and I believe Suzu on the balcony. I'm going to mention Black in position, but he's now in the grave, and Suzu caught off guard as well. And this is the Varrel that we've seen quite a bit of here on this map, and what we've loved, Cully though, able to at least find something, a quiet map for him so far.
But it's different to Clubhouse, right? I mean, Opkamesh there in closet finds a kill, and like he's playing aggressive positions, and now in towards bedroom and like playing at the window. We didn't see this from them on Clubhouse. Like they still got round wins. It still went to overtime, but it wasn't because of this kind of play. So they've changed things up fundamentally for the better. Now, good response there from Arkali, and this is still somewhat winnable while it was, and now through sheets. Pops the cloak, gets in towards 90. We'll get a free kill onto DD Man. Now, there's 50 seconds. Again, play the time here. Don't have to rush things. You've still got a bit of time. You know there's one below and there's one above. Random nade up above. Potentially to take out a camera. 35 seconds. Play a hard right in over behind that reinforced wall. Okay, it doesn't make that much noise. Is he going to check hard right corner? Picks up diffuser, and I wonder if he's only just soft checked that and thinks it's clear. Is that close enough for a sound cue though? He might be able to get this off. Never mind, he won't. 5-1 lead for Varrel on Villa. Not giving up hope on the fact that they can still go to the major. Yeah, Clubhouse was a disappointing finish, but it was a close game. This one right now is a beatdown. 5-1. CAG over to the defense.
I wonder how confident Cyclops are in the defense here for Villa. I can only presume that we're going to see a very aggressive brand of Siege. Try and match, if not out-aggress, what we saw from Varrel, who really played out of their skin in that first half. Their entry was really insane. And Cyclops, of all teams, you would probably back to read into that. Counter it. They simply didn't. I like this Varrel though. Very much indicative of a 90 Amaru to study or up round with Candelas from Rento. So it's going to be an explosive start to the second half.
10 seconds left before insertion.
And that last round as well, so big. You saw obviously on Clubhouse the difference between 4-2 and 5-1. It's massive. It just gave Cyclops that extra room to be able to get themselves back into the game and head that one over to overtime, which they did. From there, they won. And that's one thing that Cyclops can kind of look to bank on here in the second half here, is build on their defense and get a good platform of momentum heading into basically overtime. Because I would imagine they're not going to win this in regulation. They'd have to win 6 in a row. Don't think that's going to happen. Varrel have been good enough today that suggests to me that I think that's not going to happen. So it's got to happen in overtime. They don't have much room for error. They've got to be clean. They've got to be clinical. And honestly, at the same time, you can't just sit back. Now, this is going to potentially be an early rush as well. The Blitz, Lion, the Ying, the Amaru. But it immediately is already going to be a bit of a standstill for Varrel because they lose one straight away. Nice early kill, second to follow. And this rush has not worked at all.
Far too out of sync from the attack. Kai now with the planned attempt, and he might be able to stick it. No pressure really inside of R, but it will be 2v3. The post. DD Man posting up over towards 90. I don't know if Suzy will be revived. Well, Arkali definitely won't. Isolated at Brown. Kai post up behind the bar. But now he needs to find 2 more. Pistol in hand. Sees 1. Oh, now sees 2 more. And well, there's not much he can do in the face of that. And with 20 seconds to go in the round, Cyclops will be able to find that diffuser and respond well in this second half.
Yeah, I don't mind that, obviously, but I feel like the opening round,
Defenders win.
I would have probably liked to have seen Varrel pull that off actually on like a kitchen dining third round. To be honest, I like imagining a world in which you lose AVG, you lose stat trophy, you go down to kitchen. I would have pulled that line up and tried to like force through pantry and get straight onto site. I think it could actually work there. They could, I mean, in theory, they could still do that.
Well, I'm not critical of the pick. I think that I don't think the decision is bad, but the way they played it.
Oh, the way they
It
played
wasn't,
it. Yeah.
it wasn't synced. Like, you have your player 90 still isolated with one-way smoke for defenders to play off. Downstairs was also really sloppy. It was just, yeah, it was just a bit of a mess. But the beauty of it is Varrel have a couple of opportunities to try something here or there. It doesn't work out this time, but they have 3 more map. They have a 3-round buffer, right?
Yeah, that as well. I mean, Aviator Games is a site you probably want to do those kind of things because, like, fundamentally, if you try to play it normally, like default practical, the defense is just going to be
10
favored.
seconds to insertion.
You're going to be able to have those key areas locked down. You know, top round stairs, for example.
5 seconds to
You
insertion.
got to deal with that. You got to deal with study. You get 90 control.
Attackers
Clear
are moving out
vault.
to
Like there's
locate
so
a
much
bomb
you got to
and
do.
defuse it.
So I think, yeah, going for that rush on a site that you're not statistically likely to win, go for it. Just see if you can catch them off guard. If it works, it looks amazing. You go up 6-1, and that's probably the map. If it doesn't work, whatever, it's 5-2, and you move forward, and then you get off of that site. Now you can go back to playing a more conventional style. Stat trophy, kitchen dining, those are sites that are opened up, and those are sites that are winnable. So, okay, nothing round. Cyclops get a freebie. Now we really begin the second half, 5-2. And still, Cyclops need to be aggressive. Like, as soon as this barricade opens up, I want to see people swinging. I want to see some offense here from Cyclops. Look to get these opening kills. Now, maybe not too over-aggressive. Don't have to be. Don't want to throw your life away either. But Anderson holds the corner, and he kind of just doesn't do anything. Sits in the corner, gets taken out. Now he comes back late. I mean, he looks very indecisive.
Yeah, that's not a position you want to be. An upside-down rappel will see the feet there. He got trapped on an island, and annoyingly, for Varrel was not punished as he crossed. He survives for a little bit longer. Agree though, looking a little bit indecisive at the moment, and maybe that's great for Varrel applying pressure. Plunge drone now going out. I was going to say might be able to hack the 90 case. And Cyclops at the moment I think are teetering that line of aggression quite nicely. And I can't really tell, but it doesn't feel like Varrel has achieved a whole lot in this round at the moment. I'm not seeing really much pressure over towards bedroom balcony. We haven't seen southern side of the map, so perhaps they're pushing now through study, but even that doesn't really look to be the case. DD men still outside. So Varrel are cooking up something at the moment, but it feels a little bit underdone at the moment.
I think they want to probably clear out Aniton, then push up red stairs. Obviously, you got DD Man, though. Has to be able to find Aniton sitting in the corridor. Got the drop down as well on the buck. And so outside, DD Man goes searching, but Aniton's gone. He's made his way back up. So gets away. He was low health. He was sitting down below. I think he might have got droned down. Clearly, Varrel wanting to clear it. Had some kind of intel. There was a player down below. 40 seconds and time's a factor now, quite significantly. Koal just sort of positioned outside a bedroom. And Aniton finds the kill on Takayu, so that's it. There's no hard breach available. They haven't been able to really do a whole lot with this, other than no getting Astro Stairs control. That's not too bad. You can push through this now. Look to clear sight. Got to go fast, though. Got to go absolutely super fast right now. Lightning speed. Push through sight. Push through bedroom here. Get the kill onto Black Ray. Doesn't happen. I mean, Okamesh got one. He's having a great game, by the way. Double digits for him now. But unfortunately, outnumbered and outgunned. No time left for Rento on the buck. Sprays down. We'll get the kill at the Skeleton Key onto Black Ray. 1 versus 2, but no time. So it's going to be a 5-3 scoreline. Cyclops have been able to sort of just weather the storm to start here in this second half.
Operators, you are out of time.
But honestly, a very sloppy round from Varrel. And again, highlights the lack of ability to attack for these two teams in this series so far.
Yeah, I don't know if it's pressure or if it's just poor game plan or what, but yeah, Varrel, I don't know what they were really achieving at all, really, in that round. Minute to go, and they still had lurkers outside the building. They didn't have much pressure balcony. They eventually did commit to trying to open up through into bathroom. And then Aniton, playing a pretty off-meta, low percentage position, actually kind of
Attackers
became...
need to locate and defuse
It
bombs.
actually sort of transformed, I guess, into an actual powerful position because time pressure. They were forced to vault in. They really didn't drone it out properly, I would assume, because they didn't know it was there. Diffuser then on the deck, hard breach
Located
down.
by attackers.
We saw the defense fall back, so Cyclops had landing control. Played into that really nicely. And they were just able to get out the trade. So pretty simple round, really, from the perspective of Cyclops. And if they themselves now have perfect defensive path like Varrel did, man, it makes things very, very interesting.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, he can't get out Cyclops after what obviously just sort of transpired on Clubhouse, right? And that's why even at 5-1, you're not just sitting there getting overexcited for Varrel. There's so much that has to get played out here in the second half. Big round though. I mean, this has got to be the site you probably find a win if you're Varrel. Otherwise, Aviator Games opens back up and you got to go through the tour again. And you start to panic, start to worry. Is what happened on Clubhouse going to happen again here on Villa? Early EE1D.
Drone. I think Varrel gaining at least some information, especially with Solus banned out. Not really too many excuses. The mute has been impactful though to an extent, so something still to keep in mind. It's largely horizontal last time. From what we've seen from these teams on this particular site. So Black Ray holding down that forward at the moment, but not really under too much pressure, so we'll look elsewhere now. Out towards the east. Static at the moment still for Varrel. Posturing outside. I just can't help but feel that its time is just going to drain like it did last time. Minute 30. What do they achieve? Still 4 players outside at this point. We need to start seeing movement, whether that's in laundry or up above the bedroom or through living. I like this. So Okamesh now creating a bit of space. Finally some boots on the ground and he can post up and watch this rotation.
Straight down backstairs. So you get the blocks off entry and up close though, but shot in the back. Really good here from Varrel. Finally, a bit of pushing and shoving to get onto site. Maybe a little bit too quick, though, from Okamesh. Needed to just slow it down ever so slightly. Get the gun up, get ready to swing some sight angles. And that is another big kill. Skeleton Key and Caillou, 3 versus 2. Still Varrel in a good position to win this round. Now they can get the plant down. Chibisu and Black Gray. Chibisu with a great angle. He gets the red ping here as well. Double on site. He's getting red ping, yellow ping. So much information for Black Gray and Chibisu. Honestly, to the point where Caillou and Rento are now really stuck here on site. Air jab just delays a little bit here. Black Gray needs to get more involved, needs to help out Chibisu. They got this intel, they can't do anything off of it. And that's going to be diffuser down. Chibisu hasn't quite got himself ready. Black Gray saves the day. He should have been dead. Chibisu shouldn't be alive, but Black Gray gets a big kill. And Caillou has to win the 1v2.
Sits and waits. He's going to wait for them to hit the defuse with 20 seconds to go. The flashbang goes out. The Gumain in response, and now he needs to swing. He lands the shots. Oh, Black Ray needs to land it as well. But Akayu stepping up to the occasion.
Oh my days. Theme Park is looking lovely right now for Varrel. Match point. Yes, I can read Japanese. I can't actually, but we all know what that actually says. 6-3, Varrel, Guz. Are they now just moments away from stealing this map away from Cyclops? It's their map pick. They beat this very team 7-1 just a week ago on this very map. And Varrel have come to play, turned it around. And really thinking about it, I mean, they had match point in regulation on Clubhouse, and they let that slip, Varrel. And then you go to overtime, and Cyclops were the better team, and Clubhouse definitely deserved to win that map. But Varrel was still in a position to close it out and win on that map. Now they've got to make sure that Lightning does not strike twice, that they don't find themselves in a similar position to send this one to a third map, to give themselves absolutely the best chance to go to a major theme park. It has not been played in the Japan League for 2023. We've got no idea who's going to be favored there. It just literally comes down to who scrimmed it more, who's more prepared for it.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Now, I wouldn't be shocked if this does end up extending out a little bit, at least 7-4. I don't really see a world in which Cyclops drop AVG. Could obviously still happen, but last time Varrel struggled on this site. Very different composition though this time, so not going for the Maru Blitz Inca Rush. A bit more restricted this time. Still though, the Glaz in play, so smoke's available. Okamesh can linger down below with Yana. And Cyclops looking like oh, couple of plays on the room. Pink Man needs to be a little bit careful. Arc Ali.
Bomb located by attackers.
I don't mind it though, because both teams have struggled on the attack. So get moving, be aggressive, look to make things happen. We saw that there in the midpoint of the last round for Varrel, right? And that's where you find your success when you kind of just back yourselves in to turn that tide a little bit. You can't just sort of fear the fact that you've got to be better. You've got to just make it happen. I think that's the difference here on Villa right now, is that Varrel haven't shied away from the challenge. In fact, they've embraced it. They've been better here on Villa than they were even on Clubhouse, just simply because they've looked to fix some of the issues that they had on Clubhouse. Their attacking, for example, their defense aggression as well. So all the things that lacked on Clubhouse, they've improved on those things here on Villa, and that's why they're winning it out pretty comfortably. And that's got to be worrying for Cyclops going into Theme Park. But as you said, Aviator Games, probably not the site where this might happen for them straight away. Glaz positioned over towards 90. Now, there's aggression here from Cyclops, and he's aware of though, with that yellow ping, so doesn't want to peek. Does he know that Chibasu's though holding close left, though? I think he should be. Nitrocell went out, didn't hit the mark. One more still available for Anderton, but under a minute left, and it's still 5v5, and there's still no contact below.
Need to try and find value from this Varrel. Finding it tricky at the moment, but it's Kowal to get the first. Forcing this rotation back towards side. I thought maybe DD Man would be able to find one on that rotation, but elsewhere, more picks. On back though, Arkali. And it's a second from Black Ray. So a 3v3, he thinks about having a peak 90, but he can relocate. Bar's going to be able to make a good position, especially now with the advantage.
Oh, I thought that shot was going to land onto Black Ray, but it did not. Rento needed to probably get the swift trade, get then the revive very quickly off of that, make it a 2 versus 2. And there's no time, and they don't have diffuser. So match point will have to continue on into the next round for Varrel, barring something crazy here won't happen. Black Ray up into double digits. Arkali steals that one away, and that's time that has ran out. So big round win there for Cyclops. A little bit messy on Aviator Games, but it's a win nonetheless. And especially considering it was actually at one point looking pretty good for Varrel. They're at 4-3. They had a bit of downstairs control, forced out the player in Bar to swing out through the hallway, come clear that. Not quite knowing whether or not 90 potentially had been in control of Varrel or not. So big round though. Big 2 rounds coming up, because suddenly now you're in this position, guys, where it's like, okay, we've had, you know, a round obviously with match point. We've had a big lead. We choked it. We choked the 6-5 lead on Clubhouse. Now it's 6-4. That's only having to now lose out on Stat Trophy and Kitchen Dining. That's not impossible to think that could happen here. And then it goes to overtime, and then you're left thinking, oh my god, it's happened again.
Yep, I thought a 7-4 was likely, perhaps maybe even 7-5 if they're able to win out the next primary objective. I think Kitchen will still be very challenging for Cyclops, or even Living if they wanted to take that risk. I think if for Varrel, it's about just staying positive about these rounds, knowing that they are going to be tough.
5 seconds remaining.
Backing themselves in to make good on the buffer that they created early on in this match. Flores come out here for the 11th round, so a great counter, both Arsenal in play, the Izami, even the Banshees as well from Suzu. So Kawau will be able to offer quite a lot of utility, a lot of benefits with that. Ollie again roaming early and might play contact again with DD Man.
Reloading ammo.
Oh, this does not look good for Arkali.
Oh, this is huge. Massive moment in the round. Opens up the Cyclops defense. If Arkali lives, he gets away with his life intact. Cyclops will still hold on to 5 defenders. I thought that was the moment where Varrel were going to get a very early advantage, but it's not. And DD Man has to be careful now, because he's got no idea where Arkali's gone. Tries to maybe catch him on the run back to the site. And obviously it means that Arkali can actually either sort of maintain his position. He can look to come straight back up red stairs. It's still being watched by Suzu. He could look to go down, hold, and then go for a bit of a flank. There's a lot of things he can do now. So not only has Cyclops got 5 players up, but Varrel know that you've got the roaming Arkali still to deal with.
I believe he lost that fight. Attention now elsewhere. 90 seconds remaining in the round. Varrel posturing outside of Astro. They have a good drone. They have decent information and a decent read on this position, but it's not just as simple as swinging in, being double teamed by the defense. And this is where Varrel have looked weak. This transitional period from outside the building just to get some kind of presence somewhere to head and attack. Really nowhere to be seen. Still, good nade though. They can now look to lean into this advantage for the rest of the round.
Well, to be fair, their on-site execution hasn't been too bad. But yeah, as you said, I think finding those early enough kills to give yourself an advantage pushing into site has been lacking. They find something there at least through the nade of Okamesh. This time, Akali does not get away from TD Man and straight to red stairs with the pressure for Donuts. They've got themselves the pinch now as well. They've got multiple entry points in towards site and angles to be found. Not even Addison's going to bring this one back. Donuts go nuts here on Villa. They steal the map away from CAG. We're going to Theme Park. We're going to one final map to determine which of these two teams are going to the major.
Wow, what a performance. Flipping a 1-7 loss last time these two met on Villa into a 7-4 victory, and quite a convincing one at that. Very well done. Donuts.